Hello, friends. Welcome. This is Wendy. I am so excited that you're here with me today. I know it has been forever since I've shared a video with you. I will talk about that in just a little bit, but we have this fun, lovely layer set from Honeybee Stamp. I have been dying to create with this. So this is a fireplace set that they've had for a really long time, and then they have all these cool add-ons. And their most recent add-on is this really neat kind of Western, they call it the Lodge fireplace add-on. And so I've pre-die cut all of my pieces in white cardstock, and I've got it here ready for me to color. And we're going to do some coloring and assembling, and we're going to make this card fairly simple. And when I say simple, let me explain. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of other elements to this card because this is the process that I wanted the focal point to be on. Here I'm using markers W9, 7, 5, and 3 to really create this cool stonework on the fireplace. And I'm just going with my darkest marker in all the little embossed cracks. And then I'm going out from my darkest marker to my lightest so that the center of each of my stones will be a light color. And I'm just going to color this and kind of talk you through some of my thought processes with this. I really wanted this to look like a country or Western cabiny feel. I guess that's why they call it lodge, right? And as I was making it, to be honest with you, I was thinking of the Yellowstone TV show, and the big fireplace that they have in that show is kind of reminding me of that. And so I went with making all of the surrounding pieces of this fireplace wood so that the mantle and everything was wood. And to me, that gives it more of a lodge or Western-y feel. And then I'm just taking each piece and layering it according to the lovely layer guide that you saw me show earlier in this video. And for my wood pieces, I used E39, 37, 35, and 33. And then I also brought in E29 for my really dark areas that I wanted much darker. And that's pretty much what I did here. There's not much more than wood grain and stone color for this. I did choose to use my warm grays for my stone because I just felt like it kind of lent itself more to this warm fireplace look. And usually when I'm doing an inanimate object, I would use a cool gray, but I chose warm grays for this particular project. Down here at the bottom, I realized these were like paver stones that I didn't realize that that's what they were, and I needed to color them. Sorry about that. That was my dog shaking off, of course. Nothing like sitting down to voice over a video and you haven't voiced over a video in over a month, and then, life has to happen all around you. That's just how it goes. So here I'm just layering each piece up according to that. Here I'm going to color these bricks really light at first, and then I'm going to go into the centers, and I'm just going to kind of outline each area to make them stand out individually a little bit. I was pretty reckless with this. I did not, take the time to make sure it was perfectly laid out because it's going to kind of get covered and distracted from, so I wasn't too worried. Here for my fire, I did YR09, YR04, Y38, and Y35. And I just colored both layers with that. And then I colored my little logs so that they would be darker on the bottom and lighter on the top, since they would have some of that fire reflecting on them. I am not an expert colorist by any means. I keep things pretty simple, but I feel like it's good enough that it's better than just coloring with one color. Does that make sense? Here I colored my black cowboy hat and added it to the top. You can see there that I added the saloon and the bull skeleton to the top and the boots to the bottom. I did not show that part because it was just more of the exact same coloring, and Really, there was nothing fancy about it. It was just the same exact colors colored on I kind of kept everything monochromatic. So I didn't do anything fun or extra special with that. This is a really cool embossing folder. It's barbed wire. And so I'm just running it through my machine here to emboss. And this is going to be our background. I felt like it was a little bit too plain of a background to just have this embossed with the fireplace on it. So I'm going to go ahead and step it up using some twine, and you'll see that here in a minute. And then I was torn between which stamp set to use. There's the Howdy Y'all, and it's super cute with so many good sayings. And this is the one I did end up using. But then there's also this other stamp set called Saddle Up, and it is so cute, and I'm still determined to use that cowboy poem somewhere on a card. I have lots and lots and lots of ideas for both of these sets and all the fun Western products that was released by Honeybee. I just have not had the time to sit and play with all of them. So that being said, a quick note about where I've been and why I haven't been doing pre-recorded videos as much. In fact, in the month of August, I did not get a single video up for Honeybee, and we talked about that. The people at Honeybee are incredible. They are loving and kind and smart, and they recognize that life happens for all of us. And in taking on the new job that I took on, I have been basically drinking information from a fire hose, if you've ever heard that term. It's been extremely intense training, and I have struggled to do much other than eat, sleep, shower, train, survive. And I simply could not manage getting a video pre-recorded, voiceovered, and put up. In fact, I toyed with the idea of just like being done with my YouTube channel altogether and being like, I can't do this. But then I kept reminding myself, Wendy, this is a season. Maybe just instead of being extreme, something I do struggle with, maybe instead of being extreme, you just give yourself some grace and give yourself some room and recognize that all things, work out in the end. So here I am mid-September with my first pre-recorded video for you. And this is for Honeybee Stamps. They have a different video. It's the same video, but I pre-recorded or voiceovered for them something different because I didn't feel like their audience needed to know all my business, unless they wanted to, in which case they can come over here. But with you guys, my friends here on YouTube who watch my pre-recorded videos, there's not very many of you that watch, honestly, anymore. And that's okay. That's because I'm not as consistent as I used to be. And that's not why I'm doing YouTube anymore. I'm doing YouTube now because I love doing it. I love sharing. I've always loved doing it, but I love sharing and getting, having our comments go back and forth, like when you guys leave comments and sharing about my life and just catching up and showing you how to make some cute stuff and showing you some of the new products that come out and stuff like that. It's just something fun for me to do now. I'm no longer depending on YouTube for my livelihood because I am working a job. It is not full-time, it's part-time. And for those of you who have asked, I've had a few people inquire. It is, I was doing background investigations. Unfortunately, it just wasn't working out because the company wasn't giving me enough work. And so it just wasn't, I needed a regular steady income. So I have that now. And the job I'm doing now, some of the skills that I learned from background investigating have come in helpful. And the job I'm doing now is for a nonprofit family advocacy program. So I'm not going to go into deep detail with that and talk too much about it just because of the nature of the job. I have changed my social media settings to be a little bit more private. In fact, if you try to follow me on Instagram now, you can't. I've set my Instagram to private. So if you're already following me on Instagram, great. But if you haven't, I think it will like send me a request or something. I don't know. And then I had to change some of my Facebook settings also. So things have been very privatized, I guess we'll say it that way, in order for me to feel really comfortable with my new position and any of my clients to feel comfortable. I just, I think it's a cautionary thing to do. The position didn't require it. We weren't told we had to, but it was suggested. So I went ahead and followed through with that. So other than that, we've just been plugging along, had a lot going on. Life has been very, very busy, but we're starting to get back into a groove and settle back in. Now that I kind of have my feet under me with this new job, I'm starting to get comfortable with not just studying when I'm at home. And if I wasn't studying, I was sleeping because at 44 years old, my brain was not used to learning that much stuff at one time. And there's still a lot to learn. Like every day, I'm learning new things that I work. I only work 3 days a week, but boy, those 3 days a week take it out of me, I'll tell you that. If you want to watch other videos from me, you can click either one that you see here. I hope you guys continue to follow along and have fun hanging out with me when I'm here on YouTube. I miss all of you, interacting with you. I will be back to do more YouTube lives. We have been doing YouTube lives regularly every Sunday, but this last Sunday I just couldn't make it work. And this next Sunday I'm going to be I'm going to be with my friends on a trip. And so I won't be live either one of those Sundays, but hopefully the following I will. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next video. By the way, all the links for the products I used today are below. Bye-bye.